Hello, welcome back to Story Time with Og. And today's book is going to be a little different from what I usually read. Today's book is called No Matter What, a foster care tale. Because there are a lot of little boys and girls who are foster children, who live with foster parents. And sometimes they move around a lot. So, this book is going to them. No Matter What by Shipp with David Tieche. Illustrations by Yuliya Pankratova. I hope I said that right. That's a toughie. Those names can get kind of tricky sometimes. They're not as simple as mine. OG. All right, here we go. One day, Grace was soaring over the river when she spotted a young squirrel crying. Grace glided down. "What are you doing out here all alone, Josh?" she asked. "Let's find you a family, shall we?" Oh, that's sweet. She started with the pelicans. They smelled too fishy. Then to the porcupines. They felt too prickly. Next to the kangaroos. They were too happy. "He's a squirrel," said Mr. Kangaroo. "He needs to learn about trees and climbing." So Grace swooshed him over to the leopards. Oh, sure. Oh. At night, the leopards would go looking for food. In the dark, Josh was afraid of the dark. "He's a scaredy cat," taunted one young leopard. "More like a scaredy squirrel," said another. "Nobody is ever going to want me," Josh thought. Oh. When it was time to go to bed, Josh followed the leopards up their tree, but on the way he spotted a small squirrel-sized hole, a place he could be alone. Because sometimes being alone is very important. Right then and there, he decided, "I'll crack them before they crack me." Oh boy, sounds like that's a strong squirrel. When the leopards woke up, they were furious. "Who ruined our coats?" they roared. "Oh, that? I was just playing a little game of connect the dots," Josh said. "That's it. I'm sorry, but you cannot live here," Mrs. Leopard said. 5 days to crack the leopards. Josh was determined to spend even less time with the next family. Oh boy. Sounds like Josh doesn't want to stay with any families. Grace took Josh from the bats to the monkeys, and from the otters to the snakes. Josh tried to break his record of 5 days, but it didn't make him feel any better. Grace knew about the trouble Josh was causing, and she had an idea. "Josh," she said, "I have just the family for you." "Not interested," said Josh. And with that, Grace picked him up and flew toward the Great Falls. "Josh, this is Rodney and Christine Elephant," Grace said. "And this is Josh." "Nice to meet you, Josh," Rodney said. He stuck out his trunk. Weird. Am I shaking your hand or your nose? Josh asked. Both, chuckled Rodney. Oh, hey, what do you get when an elephant sneezes? You get out of the way. Lame, Josh said, trying to hide his laughter. Before Grace left, she turned to Josh. Please give them a chance. So he tied their tails in a knot and put flamingos in their front yard and brought a skunk inside their house. But elephants are very large and very patient. Say hello to my little friend. Every night when they tucked Josh in, they would say, Good night, Josh. We're glad you're here with us today, and we're glad you'll be here with us tomorrow. Tomorrow? That was the part that messed up Josh's plan. Luckily, Josh had an idea he knew would break through their tough hide and crack them. He sounds determined. The next morning, Josh went to the clearing near the river. It was time for Operation Crash. This will make them get rid of me for sure. Oh, looks like he's got the plan. Looks like he's going to scare the rhinoceros and make him hit a tree. And it's going to go into the water. And the water's going to make a big wave and hit the elephants. And then Josh will be happy. But Rhino was way faster than Josh thought. Boom! Psh, help! Psh. Josh was not a good swimmer. Worst of all, the river was rushing towards the Great Falls. It's Josh! Cried Christine. Everyone to the river! Bellowed Rodney. We have to get him before he goes over the falls. The river rushed and gushed around Rodney, but his massive legs were anchored firmly as the lifeline of animals held strong. Rodney pulled Josh from the river and lifted him toward Christine. Josh didn't know what to say. Do you know what squirrels and elephants have in common? Asked Rodney. What? Asked Josh. We both have excellent memories. So here's something I want you to remember. No matter what you do, we love you, and we're not going anywhere. At that moment, Josh knew that someone would always be there for him, no matter what. A real family. Oh, hey, Josh said. What do you get when you cross an elephant with a potato? Mashed potatoes, Rodney laughed. Speaking of potatoes, let's go home and have dinner. Dinner sounded good to Josh, too, but home sounded the very best of all. Oh, and it says, this book is dedicated to my foster parents, Rodney and Christine Weidemeyer, the strong, immovable, and loving family that pulled me out of my rushing river. Well, that's a beautiful book. Oh, wonderful. I highly recommend it, especially to those who think they can not find a home. And if there are any foster kids watching this right now, I truly, truly know in my heart that you will find a home if you haven't already. Sometimes give the grown-ups some time because they need time and you need time, and together you'll get to where you want to be. Happy. All right. Thank you for coming to Storytime with Dog. Bye-bye. Oh, here we go. Welcome back to Storytime with Dog. And this book is called A Terrible Thing Happened. This is the first time I'm reading this along with you, so I don't know what it's going to be like. We'll see together. A terrible thing happened. I wonder what the terrible thing is. Sherman Smith saw the most terrible thing. Oh, excuse me, I burped a little bit. Better out than in. He was very upset. It really scared Sherman to see such a terrible thing. Oh, what did he see? Oh, my goodness. Sherman did not like feeling so afraid. He did not want to remember what happened. So Sherman decided not to think about the terrible thing he saw. Sherman thought that would make him feel better. At first, the plan seemed to work. Sherman woke up every morning. He brushed his teeth and he went to school. Sherman played with his friends. He teased his sister and he walked his dog. Everything seemed all right for a while, but something inside of Sherman was starting to bother him. Sherman had to play more, run faster, and sing louder in order to forget the terrible thing he saw. Other things started happening to Sherman too. Sometimes he did not feel hungry. Oh, that looks like a good plate of spaghetti too. Sometimes his stomach hurt or his head hurt. Sometimes he felt sad, but he did not know why. Oh, sounds like Sherman's getting depressed. Even little boys and girls can get depressed. Sometimes he was nervous for no reason at all. Sometimes he did not sleep very well. Whatever he saw must be really on his mind. Sometimes when he did sleep, he had very bad dreams. The bad dreams scared Sherman. All of these things made Sherman angry. It seemed like Sherman was angry all the time. Oh, sad. Sherman started getting into trouble at school. Sometimes he felt so angry that he did mean things. Getting into trouble so often made Sherman feel bad. Oh, even worse than he already felt. Sherman did not understand all of his bad feelings. He felt confused. Sometimes parents help children figure out their feelings. Sometimes teachers or other grown-ups help. That is how Sherman met Miss Maple. Miss Maple helped Sherman think about his feelings. She listened while Sherman talked to her. They played while they talked. Sherman did not feel as mixed up when he talked to Miss Maple. Oh, I'm glad he's getting some help. It's good to have someone to talk to. Once when Sherman and Miss Maple were coloring, she told him to draw a picture of how he felt when he was angry. This seemed like a strange thing to draw, but Sherman did it. After that, Sherman drew lots of pictures. Pictures of the pain in his stomach, pictures of the bad dreams he had, pictures of the fear he felt. And at last, pictures of the terrible thing he saw. Sherman and Miss Maple talked about the pictures. He asked if the terrible thing he saw was his fault. Sherman said he worried a lot about that. No, Miss Maple told Sherman, it was not your fault. Nothing can change the terrible thing that Sherman saw, but now he does not feel so mean. He is not so scared or worried. His stomach does not hurt as much, and the bad dreams hardly ever happen. Sherman Smith is feeling much better now. He just thought you would want to know. Oh, that's so sweet. I'm glad he's feeling better. And in this book, it gives you suggestions on how to help your children if there are any grown-ups watching this right now. It says a note to parents and caregivers. I'm not going to read all this, but if you want to, get the book, I got it from the library, but it's probably for sale somewhere. A terrible thing happened. Oh, my goodness. So, boys and girls, if you see something or hear something that makes you scared or frightened or you don't know what to do about it, the best thing you can do about it is talk to someone. Talk to a parent or a police officer or a doctor or someone you can trust. That's the most important thing. And they will help you. In this particular book, it is, I believe it was a counselor or a social worker. That's what Miss Maple was. So, yes, go get help. That's the best thing to do before you get mean and angry and your tummy hurts and all that. It's just not good. Well, A Terrible Thing Happened by Margaret M. Holmes, illustrated by Cary, Pillo. And I think this is a very good book, and I highly recommend it. You put it in your library. All right, thank you for coming to Storytime with Doc, and I'll see you next time. All right, here we go, and here's our third and final book of today. It is called Some Secrets Should Never Be Kept by Jayneen Sanders, illustrated by Craig Smith. Protect children from unsafe touch by teaching them to always speak up. Oh, okay. Let's see. This should be a good book, I think. Good learning book. That's a big blank page. Some secrets should never be kept. I'm not going to read all that. If you want to read that, you can, suppose you could pause it or get the book. All right. In a land not so far away lived a brave little knight. Sir Alfred, for that was his name, lived in a teeny-weeny cottage with his mother, Lady Susan. Lady Susan had once lived a fabulous and glamorous life, but since her divorce from Sir Alfred's father, they were now quite poor. Lady Susan worked very hard day after day, cleaning the largest castle in the land. The castle was owned by the rich and famous Lord Henry Vatnar. Oh, that's a big castle. Because Alfred was only a little knight and couldn't stay home alone, he always went to Lord Henry's castle after school. While Lady Susan continued to clean and scrub, Lord Henry offered to take care of Alfred. Lord Henry and Alfred got along famously. They were like two peas in a pod. Lord Henry was friendly and funny, and together they played Catch Me If You Can in the castle gardens. When Lord Henry caught Alfred, he would tickle him all over, and then the game would begin again. Oh, I can't get the pages. There we go. But one day, while Alfred's mother was cleaning a far corner of the castle, Lord Henry started to tickle Alfred in a way that made him feel uncomfortable and sick inside. The tickling wasn't fun anymore, and sometimes Lord Henry tickled and touched Alfred's private parts. Oh no. And even when Alfred asked Lord Henry to stop, he did not. That's terrible. That's so terrible. Come on, Alfred, laughed Lord Henry. It's just a bit of fun. There's no harm in a bit of tickling. But, warned Lord Henry, you must never ever tell anyone about our tickling game. It must be our special secret. Because, continued Lord Henry, if you do tell, I'm afraid your mother will not be able to clean my castle any more, and you will have no money for food and clothes, and it will be all your fault, Alfred. Oh, that's terrible. I don't like him at all. Poor little Sir Alfred felt sick with worry. He knew some secrets should never, ever be kept. Secrets that made him feel bad and uncomfortable. Secrets just like this. But if he told anyone, his mother would lose her job, and they would have no money. And the worst bit of all, it would be all his fault. No, it wouldn't be his fault. Not at all. Oh, goodness. That night, little Sir Alfred went home with a very heavy heart. He did not eat his supper, and he barely spoke a word to his mother. He crawled into his bed feeling sad and lonely, the secret heavy in his heart. The next morning, Alfred told his mother that he didn't want Lord Henry to look after him any more. Lady Susan glanced at him briefly and just smiled. Don't be a silly Billy, Alfred. Everyone loves Lord Henry. He is one of the nicest and kindest men in the world. We are very lucky he takes care of you. Oh, no, the mother's not listening. But that afternoon, when Lord Henry came to the school gate, Alfred felt sick in his tummy. He felt scared and very confused. He didn't want his mother to lose her job. So once again, Lord Henry tickled him and touched his private parts. Oh, I just want to get that guy. Oh. When Alfred arrived home that evening, he felt so ill that he went straight to bed. As he lay in the dark of his room, he cried and cried. Great sobs lifted up and out of his heart. He felt so lonely and so frightened. From her rocking chair in the kitchen, Lady Susan could hear Alfred sobbing. She stopped her knitting and went straight to her little son. Whatever is the matter? She asked, but Alfred did not utter a word. If he told his mother his terrible secret, she would lose her job, and they would have no money and no food. Oh, my goodness. I hope he tells somebody. Lady Susan hugged her little boy in a loving and gentle way. She held his face in her hands and looked deep into his eyes. There is nothing you cannot tell me, she said. Nothing at all. I have always told you, Alfred. Some secrets should never, ever be kept. Poor little Sir Alfred was so confused, he didn't know whether to tell his mother or not. What if she didn't believe him? What if she lost her job and he was to blame? Finally, after many tears and lots of warm hugs from his mother, little Sir Alfred decided to be brave. He decided to tell the terrible secret. Yay! Good. Once he began, his words tumbled out one on top of the other. He told his mother all about the tickling and the touching and how uncomfortable and sick it made him feel. He told her that Lord Henry said he must keep the secret and that if he told anyone, Lady Susan would lose her job and they would have no money and it would be all his fault. Lady Susan hugged her son very tightly and rocked him gently back and forth. At last she wiped away both his tears. "You are the bravest little knight I have ever known. And what Lord Henry did to you was very wrong. You were right to tell me, and I am very proud of you. Remember, there is nothing you cannot tell me. I am always here to listen to you, and I will always believe you. You have done nothing wrong." I like the mother. Very good, very good. Lady Susan promised Alfred that he would never, ever have to see Lord Henry again, and that he would be gone from their lives forever. As punishment, Lord Henry would be banished from his castle and the kingdom. She also told Alfred that she could earn a very fine living by knitting sweaters for the rich and famous and selling them at the local market. Later that night, as little Sir Alfred lay snug and warm in his bed, he finally felt safe and very loved. He was proud of himself because he had found the courage to tell his mother. He knew now for sure that no matter how awful or scary the secret, it should never, ever be kept. Oh, that was a good book. And here are some discussion questions for parents, caregivers, and educators that you should check out. Some blank pages. Well, that was a very good book. And yes, boys and girls, if anybody ever touches you in bad places, you please tell someone. Please. Tell someone you trust. Tell your mother, your father, or someone who's close to you you can trust. And don't keep that secret. It's not good. And it's never, ever your fault. Take it from Og. It's never your fault, okay? Okay, I want you to know that. Because I just feel very bad about that. And I don't like people like that. That Lord, he's a very bad person. I don't like him at all. Oh, anyone who takes advantage of little boys and girls like that is just a horrible person. I don't like them. So please, if something is happening like that to you, please tell someone, okay? All right. Well, I'm going to go and probably go read the Christmas story because I need to get in a better mood. But I want you to know that I'm so happy you came to listen and see this video, and I really hope that you tell someone if you have a secret like this little boy did, this little knight. All right, I'm going to go, and I'll see you next time. Please come back and visit me again on Storytime with Dog, and I will probably bring you some Christmas stories. Everybody likes those. Okay, I love you all, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.